Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. That's why history is very important, because it teaches us things from the past that will most definitely will happen in the future. You will have probably different actors, different location, different times, or sometimes we will have the same guys, like in the case of Gaza right now. So we have here a video, maybe about 40 seconds, where we have then House Representative Ron Paul, the elder Paul, not Rand, but Ron Paul, in a little speech regarding Israeli-Palestinian conflict in the Gaza Strip. You're gonna hear from Ron Paul, who was in charge and who helped with the creation of certain groups. And he's going to talk about Hamas, he's going to talk about Al-Qaeda, he's going to talk about the Soviets, he's going to talk about the Russians. Very interesting to know the dynamics. So when you listen to what's going on now in Gaza, you can look back at this one and say, wait a minute. But if we go back chronologically, we're going to find out who are the parents of certain organizations. So here is the video, Israeli-Palestinian conflict in the Gaza Strip, and I think this starts at the minute 108, something like that. So let's go. This is Representative Ron Paul. Let's start it.
For this, but there's a political liability which I think is something that we fail to look at, because too often there's so much blowback from our intervention in areas that we shouldn't be involved in. You know, Hamas, if you look at the history, you'll find out that Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel, because they wanted Hamas to counteract Yasser Arafat. And you say, well, yeah, that was better then and served its purpose, but we didn't want Hamas to do this. So then we as Americans say, well, we have such a good system, we're going to impose this on the world. We're going to invade Iraq and teach people how to be Democrats. We want free elections. So we encourage the Palestinians to have a free election. They do, and they elect Hamas. So we first indirectly and directly through Israel help establish Hamas. Then we have election. Then Hamas becomes dominant, so we have to kill them. You know, it just doesn't make sense. During the 80s, you know, we were allied with Osama bin Laden. And we were contending with the Soviets. It was at that time our CIA thought it was good if we radicalized the Muslim world. So we financed the madrasa schools to radicalize the Muslims in order to compete with the Soviets. There's too much blowback. There's a lot of reasons why we should oppose this resolution. It is not in the interest of the United States. It's not in the interest of Israel either.
All right, well. So this is Ron Paul. I always liked Ron Paul. And no, we're not going to drink any water. How about that? So, yeah, we're going to drink water after we drink wine. Nah. So here you have Ron Paul telling us about Hamas, Israel, telling us about Al-Qaeda, telling us about the Soviets, and then telling us about the blowback and the radicalization, as he calls it, of the Muslim world. It's like the failure of the intelligence services in Israel on October 7th, 2023, and the military response, the Israeli military, after how many hours? I will tell you a little story. I met a Palestinian, I'm not going to go deeper than that, in a store, a person that I know, and he said that a Palestinian from Palestine, but he is in the United States of America, and he gave me a little bit of an update of what he knows about what's going on over there. And he said something that the Israeli army responded to the Hamas intervention in Israel in 17 hours or something. I don't know if that's true or not, or maybe I misheard it. And then he said that he said, I personally passed through those areas, you know, the checkpoints. He said you can't get anything through that. He gave me, I can't remember the word he used, like you can't, they would know immediately if you cross it. So the fact that these guys did not react, he said, if I understood correctly, reacted in hours after these guys crossed without knowing that these guys crossed, he said that's kind of very murky. Anyway, not impossible, but I would say, based on his statements and my assessment of the situation, very unlikely. Now back to Ron Paul. I don't even know how this guy was allowed to say certain things like that, and that was not 50 years ago. Okay, it was what, 15 maybe? I don't even know when that occurred, but nevertheless, when it was the last Palestinian-Israeli conflict every day. So remember, when you know, the Mujahideens in Afghanistan were propped and helped by CIA and the American government military to fight the Soviets in the 80s. And then from that, they merged, and there was a guy called Osama, not Obama. And then from that, they morphed into Al-Qaeda, and then we got into ISIS, and all this goes to, I'm not equating certain groups together because that's not my job. My point is the blowback that the United States gets from being involved in the Middle East, where the interest in the Middle East is oil. That's the only interest, real interest from the United States of America. And unfortunately, the United States of America is involved in more than that. And when you get into morality and unconditional support for something that I don't think it should have unconditional support, because that means that person is like, you either love that person, when you love someone you will ignore mistakes and all that, or that person is perfect, therefore, or that entity is perfect, therefore you're gonna give 100% support. You can't give them unconditional support, and besides you have no control. The Americans seem to have no control, even though I think it's an organized, it's a planned move. I'm going to talk, I'm going to condemn. You do what you need to do, and I'm going to keep condemning, not doing anything. I'm going to block everything that is to block at the United Nations. When those guys come to vote and I can veto in the Security Council, I will do it. So I will block any meaningful action against you. I will join the chorus and say, hey, we condemn you, please allow that, we're going to put pressure, like we control. And these guys say, yeah, and they do what they do over there. And after they are finished, whatever they want to do with that, then the Americans will be allowed to, okay, we're going to listen to the United States, we're going to give the United States like the authority to go in and settle things. No, you didn't settle shit. For 30 years, garbage in the Middle East, and you were the sole guy over there. Soviet Union was gone, Russia was weak for about at least 15 to 20 years, and then you tell me that that's the product of these guys. Don't blame the Arabs, don't blame the Russians, don't blame the Israeli. These guys is baby. That's what it is over there, and this is the consequence. So they can avoid responsibility, and maybe that's exactly what they wanted. And I would say go 50-50. I'm going to tell you why. Remember when that idiot, George W. Bush, the second one, was elected 2 times? Remember that one? Okay, another American leader. When he was elected, and he started those wars against Iraq and Afghanistan and so on. I was having a conversation with someone, and during the conversation, I can't remember, I think it was I was like, man, this guy's an idiot, this guy's like, Jesus Christ, doesn't know what he's doing. And the guy said, I think he knows what he's doing. I think he's doing exactly what he's supposed to. He's a very good, follower. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, he is not doing anything for us. From our perspective, he's doing everything wrong. But from their perspective, he's doing everything right. But once you understand that we are not together into this on one camp, then you understand that those policies over there are not done for us. They try to merge us into their narrative, but no. So I said, yeah, actually, when they bombed and they destroyed those 2 countries over there, Who came after that? Reconstruction. And who benefited? Did we benefit out of it? And it's not only about benefiting, it's about what you do in that country. Do you have the legality? To do what? Bring freedom and democracy? What did you bring over there actually? You toppled Saddam Hussein? First, that was not your job to do that. Because if your job was to topple Saddam Hussein, then who did you topple in Afghanistan? Did you look for Osama bin Laden? You eliminated him differently. Why couldn't you have done that like you did? You have to invade two countries? Doesn't make sense. But anyway, it makes sense for them, but not for us. See, it's two different logics, two different interests. Their interest, our interest. And remember, after they got rid of what's his name, Saddam Hussein, what did they say? They looked for weapons of mass destruction. First, they said the Iraq is going to attack us and bomb us. It's going to destroy us, imminent and whatever danger. Really? Yes. Even if you dare to use logic, you were called this, like right now. You're called that, you're called that, you're called that. And some people bow down because people are weak. Courage is a virtue, but you have to work on it. You have to work on it. I'm not going to use that guy's saying. You can't make someone to be courageous, but you can at least shape it. All right. As you said, I think you can't make a courageous guy out of 100 cowards or something like this. Talking about the democracy and these parliamentarians. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So, Ron Paul told us in front of everyone who's who, what's what. Did we learn? Yeah, we forgot quickly. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.